Okay, Blake, for the second part, the guy that I put you up next to here is a guy by the name of Carlos Santana, plays for the Cleveland Indians. Actually a switch hitter, but the video that I have is left-handed, so I mirrored him, so I made him a right-handed hitter in this one. And what I want us to pay attention to here is, it's as far back as I can get it, but I think what we're going to see here is, so we talk about, this is basically, you guys are in the same position right here, right? So the hands are starting to go back, and what I want you to look at is that back knee, right? Okay, so look at where it is in relation to his back foot, still inside of that back knee, okay, or back foot. And then we look at yours, where is it? Just a little bit outside of that back knee, back foot. And what that does is it limits us with our balance, it limits us with our drive forward, and it limits us with the amount of time, or it I guess pushes to where we have too much time, and it takes too long to get from point A to point B, point A being this point right here, point B being when we get our foot down and we're ready to go. Okay, so we want to make sure we shore that up just a little bit. Now, as we advance through here, and watch his swing, so that knee comes down. Okay, one thing that I want us to look at too is when we do get our foot down. Okay, so here's some similarities. We look at the path from the bat and where it's at. Okay, same thing over here. Look at this. Pretty darn similar, right? So really, really similar with where we're at in regards to that. And then we're talking about the base in between our feet. So from here to here, I think we're both in pretty similar positions. He's obviously a little bit taller, but I think you've created enough space for yourself, and you're starting to drive from that back leg just like he is in this picture over here on the right. Okay, so those are both really, really good factors. Now let's go to the connection piece, and the part of being connected, like I talked about earlier. It is right there. Okay, so I know it's really tough to see because he's moving really fast, but this picture right here, the back elbow and the hands have reached the side at the same time. Okay. Hands get there a little bit before that back elbow does, and what that does, like I talked about, is it creates a little bit of a push. So then we go through, scroll through. One thing, I don't know if we're going to be able to see this because it's a little bit too far forward, the video is, but I think if we were to see it, and what I talked about in that last video with you is that he's creating this by staying firm up against that front side, okay? Firm up against the front side, and that foot, I think if we were to see this correctly, I don't know if I can get it over there, but if we see this correctly, that foot would be planted, that front foot would be planted and stuck in the ground. And what that does is it creates that force moving back towards the middle of our body, everything working towards the middle of our body. So here's what I want you to look at too and pay attention to, so you know that you're making some progress and you're moving in the right direction. I want you to watch your guys' back knees and back feet. Okay, where are we going? Driving. Okay, watch his. Driving. Okay, obviously there's a little bit more in there on Carlos Santana's back leg getting through there than yours, but Blake, I tell you what, this is pretty good with the way that you progress and move through the strike zone. That's awesome. Okay, so doing a good job there. Another thing that I would point to is that look at your head, And look at his head. Okay, in very, very similar positions. Head down, chin down, eyes down on the baseball. Pretty good. Okay, so if we scroll back to where he's at here, actually I guess I can get it all the way back to the stance. Stance somewhat similar to yours, actually. Yeah, you guys look really similar. Okay. Like I talked about, take the tension out right here. Right there. Take that tension out, make it a little bit easier on yourself. I think you can kind of notice it over here with Mr. Santana. He's a little bit more loose. He creates some wiggle, creates some bat movement as he goes along. One thing that we want to be careful of too, like, is as we start going forward, you end up getting it to a decent position. But we want to make sure that this bat and this barrel doesn't get too far behind your head. Right here, you're bordering on the line of getting it too far back there, and it's pointing too far towards the pitcher. What happens is it creates a pretty long path that we got to move the bat to get from there to there. Okay, if that becomes too long and drawn out, it's just like what I was talking about with your legs. If our knee gets too far back over our back foot, it becomes a little bit harder to get all the way through, and we add some extra things in there that we don't need to. Same thing with that barrel. It gets too far behind our head, too pointed towards the pitcher, it's going to create a longer loop towards the baseball. And we're all about efficiency. So, Blake, if you've got any questions, feel free to shoot over me an email. I'd love to chat with you about some of these things that I saw. Also, if you need anything else, you want me to demonstrate these for you at the next camp, I can do that. If you want to talk a little bit more about it, I can do that. So, Blake, I appreciate it. Swing looks good. I think you use your legs efficiently. Just a couple things in there you can tinker with and try to get better with, and hopefully you can become a better hitter because of it.